Hello, my name's Ivan Ruzic. I'm a senior advisor here at the Corum Group, and welcome to Don't Miss the AI Exit Window. I am an AI practitioner. I am an AI advisor. I've been at Corum for 9 years now, and as you can imagine, we collectively have seen, as they say, a lot of water pass under the bridge, and that, of course, also applies to AI. What we're going to talk about today is the strategic choice that many founders and senior leadership teams are going to have to make when it comes to deciding whether they want to become an AI company or not. And so the strategic choice is, do you exit now or do you undergo a AI transformation process? And what I'm going to talk about today is that process, what's involved in that process, and indeed whether you should undertake it at all. It's no secret that AI is the new reality, and it's also very disruptive. In terms of disruption, this technology is as disruptive as the invention of electricity. The difference is that it took electricity about 30 years, 3 decades, to get to the same penetration level as AI has managed to do in just 2 short years. 87% of executives say that AI is going to be germane to them acquiring or maintaining a competitive edge. McKinsey says that AI will contribute $15.7 trillion to the global GDP by 2030. And boy, adoption is happening really, really quickly. If you look at the chart on the right, you can see that we've gone from about 20% adoption through to over 90% adoption just this year. Now, when I say adoption, it doesn't mean that everything in that company is AI enabled. It means that people are using AI in one capacity or another. Nevertheless, this is a very, very rapid adoption of any technology. From an M&A perspective, it's important to realize that buyers are hungry for so-called AI companies. One of the things that we discovered last year is that AI is a major driver of M&A activities across all 29 IT subsectors that the Corum Research Group tracks. And so there is, as you can imagine, a massive amount of interest in all things AI. And it's important to understand that because that interest creates a valuation divide. Companies that have some form of AI enablement or perhaps even AI native companies, and these definitions will make more sense as we go through this, are fetching a premium. Typically, a legacy SaaS company may fetch a 4 to 6 times annual recurring revenue premium on exit. Well, we find that for AI enablement, that goes up by about 50%, and then for AI native, that almost doubles again. So this, creates a fairly serious decision point for some organizations. Should they exit now because they don't have the capacity to become AI companies for one reason or another, and we'll explore some of those reasons shortly, or do they bite the bullet, so to speak, and become AI enabled one way or another to secure that valuation premium? If you look at where most companies fit today, most are not, AI companies. In fact, almost half are what we call AI adaptive. And that means that they're using AI in some capacity or another. Remember that 90% on our previous chart, to do some creative work inside the company to decrease costs, increase efficiency, and increase effectiveness. Perhaps they're using AI tools such as ChatGPT or Claude for coding or what have you. They're basically what I would consider to be at the experimental stage. This is a tactical use of artificial intelligence. AI-ready companies are kind of the next step up. These are companies that have thought about or have already an infrastructure that is a suitable foundation for building upon when it comes to AI enablement in one way or another. And this is about a third of companies today. About another 15 or 16% already have or are fielding products that are AI enabled. And really, this is kind of the first strategic use of AI. It's really AI native and AI enabled companies that are in a position to build a competitive moat around their use of that kind of technology. And AI native companies today are only about 3 or 4% of the companies. And that creates a massive opportunity, of course, for companies that have the capacity to go that particular route. So this creates a bit of a strategic dilemma for founders, for senior leaders. Do you maximize value today by exiting today, while you're still really being assessed on traditional exit metrics such as recurring revenue, churn, customer concentration, etc.? Or do you go down the AI transformation path in the belief that you'll secure a premium down the track, maybe 6, 12, or 18 months? And so I'm going to try and help you guys decide how to make that decision. I think the take home here, though, is, and that should be obvious from my previous comments, that not every company should try and transform. Many companies face a limited market, what I call a limited market capacity. They don't have the data foundations, the talent, etc., that they're going to need to undertake a significant transformation. They also don't have the capital, and we'll talk about capital risk a little bit later on. This is a little framework that you can think of as a way of assessing whether they should even think about undertaking this kind of a significant transformation. We typically look at 5 things: data readiness, infrastructure and integration, talent and skills, process and culture, and do you have the capital resources? So data readiness, of course, is all about, do you have structured, clean data? Have you taken care of PII? Is the data properly governed? In other words, do you have enough historical data for AI to actually be able to build a context around what it needs to do for you? Infrastructure, of course, is all about, are you cloud ready? Do you have the appropriately robust APIs and so on? Is your system scalable? Talent and skills is becoming a very big one. As you're probably aware, AI engineers fetch a massive premium. It seems that all of the foundation and frontier companies like, OpenAI, Google Gemini are snapping these people up as quickly as they can possibly do so. And so securing that talent has become a major gating factor in whether companies can undertake this kind of transformation or not. Do you have the culture? Do you have a culture that is willing to experiment and willing to have some failures along this particular path, because this is very experimental. There is no predefined blueprint for how to go about transforming a company to make it a successful AI company. There is some experimentation involved, and it requires the right culture, as I said, to be able to undertake that. And finally, of course, do you have the capital resources? Can you undertake a major re-engineering effort, which may take 6, 12, or 18 months, depending on which approach you happen to use? There's actually kind of a 40-question questionnaire that you can utilize to help you gauge your level of readiness. What this all boils down to is what we call the AI maturity framework. And this just shows the typical journey that companies take to go from AI adaptive to AI ready to AI enabled to AI native. And many companies decide that they're not going to take the journey or drop off that particular journey as they go along. So let's kind of define some of the terms. AI adaptive is kind of the first step along this particular journey. It's really about context engineering. It's about tactical use of AI, as I said. It's about using large language models like ChatGPT to create content, do email drafting, brochures, what have you, develop code using coding co-pilots, which is eminently worthwhile because these tools compress the product development cycle as much as anything else, and they enable product revisions to occur very, very quickly. And you may use this to provide some basic analytics. As I said, this has become kind of the new normal. The expectation from buyers is that you have already started this journey and you're already at the point where you are using AI internally. If you're not doing so, and this is, as I said, has become table stakes, then we're finding that some companies are starting to experience a valuation haircut. It can be anywhere between 15 to 15%, sorry, 5 to 15%, because the buyer understands that when they acquire this company, they're going to have to undertake this particular process to garner those efficiencies that you should already be having. The next step is the AI ready step. And this is all about building, obviously, an AI foundation. This is all about focusing on your data structures, your data readiness, your infrastructure, revamping your culture if necessary, making sure you have the necessary talent and skills to undergo the next step, which of course is the AI-enabled steps. The point here is the buyers appreciate the fact that you're already AI ready. That means you've already built a solid foundation. You have the talent and skills in place. And typically this only requires a low to medium investment level. So it's very doable for many, many companies. And because the buyers appreciate the work that's already gone into preparing the company's foundation, they will pay a premium of typically 4 to 6 times annual recurring revenue. AI-enabled companies are kind of the third step along this journey. And like most journeys, of course, by this time, many companies have kind of fallen off the path, as to be expected. But this requires, obviously, all the right elements to be in place. You need a solid foundation. This is all about building in features that enhance the value of the products that you already may have in market, or new products that are extensions to what you currently have. Buyers realize that, of course, this is the first step in building a sustainable competitive moat. And so they will reward you for this through the price they're prepared to pay for your company. So you can typically expect something like a 6 to 9 time multiple on your annual recurring revenue. The final category, of course, is what we call AI native. These are the category leaders. These are the folks that have usually already a ready foundation in place. They may or may not have already gone through the process of experimenting with AI-enabled products, but they realize the value of AI and they develop what I call AI-first products. In other words, the AI is their core IP. The product will not exist without that AI inbuilt. And that is the foundation of their competitive moat. It could be in the algorithms, it could be in the data, it could be in a combination of all of the above. But these are companies that are poised for highly accelerated exponential growth, and that exponential potential garners a very handsome premium from buyers, typically 10 to 20 times annual recurring revenue. So if you pay attention to what's happening in the marketplace and you see a massive range of valuations for AI companies, that's the reason. Some are category leaders and they fetch an incredible premium. Many are not. Right. And of course, the media typically focuses on those companies that are the category leaders because obviously they're the most newsworthy. And here's just an example. Those of you who are into video and graphics and images will instantly recognize Runway as being one of the premier AI video generation companies. There would be no company without that AI capability. So part of the things that you have to do is decide, where do you fit on this particular spectrum? Are you AI adaptive and happy to stay there and seek an exit? Are you AI ready? In which case you should definitely seek an exit if you don't want to undertake the rest of the journey because you will already fetch a premium. Or do you go that extra mile, so to speak, and become AI enabled and/or AI ready? Of course, you need to have a much higher readiness level to become either of those two last categories. And you need to have a much higher AI integration level. All right. So obviously, AI ready requires little AI integration. AI enabled requires a lot more. And AI native, of course, is the max. It requires a lot of AI integration. So you can typically plot your company somewhere on this particular grid to work out what your next step should be. This is just a summary slide. It kind of shows how buyers look at this. If you look at the buyer rationale column, I think that's the one that's the most telling. As I said, AI adaptive has become table stakes. AI ready is seen as kind of good bones. The foundation has already been laid. And if you are a tuck-in, then the company, the acquirer will already be able to utilize what you've built as a foundation to accelerate development. AI enabled, of course, is the first serious differentiator that's recognized by buyers. They like that a great deal and will pay a premium for it. And AI native, as I said, this is kind of the category defining AI integration, which will fetch a massive premium, and buyers really like that a great deal. One thing to be careful about is underinvesting. We all try and maximize the use of capital. This is a bit of a risk matrix that really talks about some of the dangers of underinvesting. If you look at the horizontal axis, it's really all about AI readiness, and the vertical is all about investment intensity. And I've tried to color code this to give you a bit of a sense of not just risk, but also timing. The red, obviously, are the higher risk areas. The green are the lower risk areas. If you have low AI readiness, and don't have the funds that you need to invest, your smartest route is to exit now. If you have low AI readiness, but it requires high investment intensity, don't go that route. You're better off. You'll get a higher ROI by seeking an exit right now with what you have. If you have high AI readiness and really any investment level from low to medium to high, you are really much better positioned to think about AI enabling your technology or even going the whole hog to become AI native. What you've basically bought by going that route is time. The caveat here is that we are facing compressed product life cycles. The typical product life cycle now has compressed to about 5 to 7 months. And so you need to be very cognizant if you go the AI enabled or the AI native route that you don't face the risk of technology obsolescence. In other words, you could put 6 or 7 months into development life cycle to find that, oops, I've picked the wrong technology because it suddenly has become superseded and I've got to re-engineer. So just something to think about. So this is sort of my last slide and my summary slide. Obviously, this is a significant decision for founders, the leadership team, and boards to have to make. Do you exit now? Do you try and adapt incrementally? Or do you try and transform boldly, which means that you're going to have all of the precursors in place and the requisite capital to do so? I think one thing that people often undervalue and overlook is some of the critical economic constraints as you go down this particular path. And, economic uncertainty shortens the runway for this kind of development and experimentation. Right now, we're in a situation where we have higher and increasing unemployment. The Fed has just dropped the prime rate by 25 basis points and a significant talk of recession. What that typically does, it reduces the runway for most companies when it comes to transformation, because typically what happens in a recession is that the market changes dramatically, and you can see a very quick 30 to 60% compression in valuation rates, valuation ranges. So as founders and members of the leadership team, it really is one of your responsibilities to keep a very close look at the market. So, do you exit now or do you look very carefully and track the market to make sure you have enough runway in an increasingly uncertain environment to undergo a full transformation? My point here ultimately is that this is a leadership decision. You need to decide with clarity and with urgency. Time is not your friend here. Right now, you have an optimal window for an exit. If you are already AI enabled, you should definitely seek an exit. If you're AI native, you should absolutely seek an exit and avoid the risk of technological obsolescence. Either way, the premiums are there to be had right now, and I'm not sure how much longer those premiums are going to be available if this economy takes a turn for the worse. So hopefully you have found this useful. I would encourage you to talk with your Corum advisor. If you're interested in exploring this further, happy to make myself available. Talk to your advisor. They will know how to get in touch with me. Thank you and have a great day.